Before I ever start drawing or touch ArchiCAD, I do these three things. And these three things have saved me from redesigning an entire project. I have done over 150 architectural videos and drawn more plans than I can count. So trust me, this part is where real design begins. Well, before I even open my software, I ask one question. What does the client want? The client could be a homeowner, a school, or even a government office. Therefore, every client has different needs. So it's important to write down clearly what the client says. How many bedrooms does he need? How many classrooms does he need? Whatsoever he needs, you need to write down clearly. And one thing so many designers do miss, if a client mentions a habit, it's a requirement. For example, should there be a corridor between the parlor and the dining? That is important information that could change your plan totally. This is important so when you start designing, you know exactly what the client wants. So it doesn't surprise you when you present a plan and he says, like, this thing is trash. This should not surprise you because the client is the king. So he knows exactly what he wants in his building. So your role as a design engineer is to be able to communicate his role using what you have learned, which is your software, your intelligence, and whatsoever. Well, I have done this over and over again. Like for example, in my live stream yesterday, I even asked someone to list what he needs in his dream house, which is very, very important. Number two, make sure you get a site and situation plan from your client. This is very, very important because it shows you the boundaries of the plot. You have to figure out where is the entrance to the building, the orientation of the plot, the topography. Those are things you need to take into consideration before you start designing. You equally need to take into consideration things like setback between the house and the plot. So all those things you can only consider them when you have the site plan. So it's important to get a site plan from your client. Well, a site plan will help you to know the plot size, the orientation, the topography, access point, and even existing buildings present on that plot. This will help you shape the way you do your concept. If the client doesn't have a formal site survey, then you should pay a site visit. Well, always ensure that the dimensions you are taking actually matches that on site. So use your measuring tape to verify that. Because at the end, you want to make sure that your plan matches reality. So you don't have to end up drawing a plan which is out of the client's boundary. This is important so you can combine the brief and the site plan before you start sketching. Well, for example, if the brief has 6 bedrooms but the plot is small, you have to know before you start drawing. So you know you're going to increase by story height. This equally helps the client because early knowledge keeps the client grounded. The third thing I consider is the sketch flow. But sketch with rules makes life easier. The parlor is supposed to be next to the dining. The dining is supposed to be next to the kitchen. And the kitchen is supposed to be next to the store and an exterior veranda. The guest toilet should be next to the parlor but not opened directly into the parlor. Stairs should be positioned so as to serve circulation without interrupting living spaces. All these rules I've just mentioned create a clean circulation loop, which is out of my experience as a designer.